Hello everyone, welcome to episode 5 of the Switchaboo Podcast. My name is Alex Harding, I'll be your host. I am joined by our self-claimed co-host, Nathan Rudge.
Hello again.
And a newcomer, one of our newest writers, we got Jake Mounsey.
Greetings, I'm the new guy.
He's the new guy, and it's good to have you on. How are you doing?
Yeah, alright, yeah, doing alright.
Doing alright, that's good.
Yeah.
We got a pretty news-light episode this time, so nothing too extensive. So we'll talk about what we've been playing first up. Jake, you're the new guy. We'll start off with you. What have you been playing?
Oh, outside of Bravely Default, nothing. Honestly.
And I've heard you've been having some issues with Bravely Default too?
Oh, yes, I have. I'm honestly, I'm glad I'm not reviewing it because, boy, I would give it a really bad review. I would just tear into it. Because apparently, I'm the only person on the planet that seems to be, experiencing, just countless, near game-breaking glitches with the game.
You were saying this before. What exactly kind of game-breaking bugs are you experiencing?
The most annoying one was, at the end of Chapter 2, the transition from, going from the city that, Chapter 2 starts and, where Chapter 3 starts, you're supposed to cross a bridge. For some reason, that bridge never spawned for me.
I didn't. It's meant to be a world asset.
Yeah, it's a world asset, so it just didn't show up. So I'm, wandering around the overworld thinking, what do I do? Where do I go? Is it this building? This random tunnels? Oh, no, not that one. I get killed in there. So I had to look up walkthroughs. It's there's supposed to be a bridge there. What bridge? And I go over there and the bridge is back. It's alright, fine. Fine, cool. Cool,
don't look
fun.
back.
But, yeah, that's the most, annoying one, but, other ones have been just, side quest trackers turning themselves on and off, which has been really annoying for some of the biggest side quests, and, early game, for some reason, enemies just refuse to, run away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the time I, actually did, the first boss, my, Elvis, the Black Mage at the time, he already had, Fire, Blizzard, and Thunderer at that time when he's only supposed to have, the Tier 1 spells, because enemies wouldn't leave me the bloody hell alone. So, I am
So you were, level 7 or 8
I was,
in the job.
yeah, level 7, 8 at that point. I am way over-leveled, yet I'm still getting my butt kicked by, so many, bosses and all that.
Bosses are where the real challenge is.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
I think I was because I'm only about 6-7 hours into it at the moment. I got up to a desert area, and I even got taken down by one of the standard enemies. Yeah. And
the power spike from that canyon to the desert is a big jump.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's a massive.
The beginning of
spike.
each chapter is a big spike.
Great. I love
So
difficulty
I was
spikes.
over leveled for the boss, for the end of chapter 1, which is the end of the desert one. Went into chapter 2, I'm I am getting just pummeled.
Oh, jeez. Is that the only thing you've been playing, Jake?
Oh, yeah, kinda. Because, the main thing, right now is, I'm just trying to find a game to, chill out and just play, just by myself.
Yeah.
Just in my off time. But I can't find anything, so it's Bravely Default 2 it has to be, despite the fact that it's frustrating me to no hell. I've started going back to, Persona 5 again. It's I've been meaning to do that.
I haven't played Persona 5. I really need to.
It's good. I'm more of a Persona 4 man myself, but Persona 5's it's up there.
Cool. And Nathan, what have you been playing?
Again, Bravely Default 2.
Of course.
Got a good chunk through it. I haven't encountered any of the problems that Jake did himself.
Lucky.
Yeah. I am also mostly over leveled, but that's because I like to try and max out as much jobs as I can.
Yeah, that's what I did when I played second layer.
Yeah, which is where you could adjust the encounter rates and JP, if you got it, or XP if you got it, kind of thing. That was having overworld enemies is a nice addition, but having that where you could adjust encounter rates and stuff, that was I found it a bit more.
Oh, I'd love that for default too.
Oh yeah, it would make it a lot easier. You could choose how many enemies you want to encounter and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I'd get rid of one of my main grievances with Ter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed as well. I always like with RPGs when you can strike first or they strike first. But I've noticed there's a bit of a frame rate dip that often happens.
Yeah.
So you don't know whether you connect or not, and that's been so frustrating.
And if you want to cut the grass and there's an enemy near you, you target the enemy and you don't cut the grass.
And you want to cut that grass.
Yes, because you get good items out of it.
Yeah, I remember the first time it's an enemy in the overworld. All right, I got to fight it. I cut the grass and the potion comes out. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna spend hours cutting grass, aren't I?
Yeah, I often get better items from the grass than the actual treasure chests themselves.
Yeah, I know, right? Treasure chests suck.
So what do you call it, Nathan? Lawnmower Simulator?
Yeah, or Legend of Zelda.
Lawn Purge.
Yeah. And then the other game I played a bit off was Bowser's Fury / 3D World with Jace.
I still need to get that. I've been meaning to get that for the longest time.
Bowser's Fury is actually pretty good.
It looks
fun.
good.
Yeah.
I really want to play it, but obviously, because I played 3D World on my Wii U, I just can't justify going back to it. And
I haven't played it much myself, but Jace has been playing a lot of it, and he's been having fun.
Aww.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he loves
Dad
Mario
gamer.
games.
Yeah, you got to teach him early.
Yeah,
but yeah, I really want to get around to playing it. I just have no idea when I'm going to. That's for sure.
It's also an investment.
Yeah, I missed the chance to get it back in the Wii U days. Unfortunately,
although we played it for a bit with your brother, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That was fun. That was ages ago before he left to Queensland.
Yeah, right.
And what about yourself, Alex?
So I've been playing Bravely Default 2, as with everyone else, but I'm only about 7-8 hours into that, so I'm only up to chapter 1 still, so I'm going real slow with that. I still can't say too much about Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town, except what I've written in my preview, but that's been pretty good. No, March 23rd in America.
I swear I
March
saw
26th.
it at EB Games on sale today.
No, it doesn't. In Australia, it doesn't release here until the 26th.
Or maybe it
might be like a pre-order.
Maybe.
It was in the actual game sale section. I was like, oh, Story of Season. I'm like, huh.
Could have been Friends of Mineral Town that released last year. But anyways, yeah, Pioneers of Olive Town. It is really good. I'm leaning on it. It's not as good as Friends of Mineral Town. And the frame rate dips are quite apparent, which is very, very much disappointing. It's good for the most part. If you just want a traditional Story of Seasons adventure, you will get that in Pioneers of Olive Town, but try not to expect too much from it. The initial trailer, I reckon, got fans excited for it, for what it could do, but I don't think it really delivers on a lot of that stuff. But I'll go into that later.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is good though. Bottom line, it is good. But don't expect too much. I've also been playing Cyanide and Happiness Freakpocalypse.
Oh yeah, that came out, didn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. It is very, very good. I got a code for it on launch. So it is very good. With point and click adventure games, it's kind of frustrating when you have to use the cursor. Especially with the right joystick. You can't just walk up to someone and speak to them. You have to walk up to them and then move the cursor over to them and then speak to them. It's which is a bit of a downer for point and click adventure games on console. But again, it's cyanide and happiness. If you like that kind of humor, it's spot on with it.
Yeah. Does it have like weird Sierra style point and click, like just batshit insane solutions to puzzles?
Not really, or not that I've found so far. I'm still in the opening area, which is the school, but yeah, not really. Honestly,
Right.
it's pretty obvious like what you need to pick up. In the early days of it, anyways. But it's quite expansive, and you can click on a lot. There's so much to interact with, and it's all voice acted. And there's just so many one-liners, and it's so witty. And again, especially if you like that kind of humor, which I do personally, there's so much to enjoy from it. So I've actively cracked up laughing multiple times.
So there's a lot of quote-unquote world building. Just like hilarious, like dumb crap.
Yeah, as much world building that a cyanide and happiness can have.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm working on that review as well, but that's been fantastic so far. And non-Nintendo related, but I am still working through the Halo Master Chief Collection, finally. Because I want to be up to date when Infinite launches.
Yeah.
And I don't think I told you, Jake, as well, but I just got my Series X. So that's been pretty exciting.
I've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think you got joined part of the group just as he got it.
Yeah. It was like one of the first things I saw. It's like, hey, check out this huge box I got.
And it's actually not as big as I thought, but it is still a huge box.
It's not that big compared to the PS5 at least.
That is very
true. PS5's a monster.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing. So next time we'll move on to the news. But first off, I just want to touch base. So basically, all the listeners at the moment, you guys can support us always on Patreon. For $1 a month, you get the podcast 2 to 3 days early. It all goes towards supporting the website, paying our writers and keeping everything running. So any support is incredibly appreciated. And also, if we reach $100 a month, we'll be able to make this podcast weekly, which is something we really want to do as well. But moving on to the news, some fantastic news to start off, especially for if you're in Australia. PAX Australia is going ahead, and it's going to be on October 8th to October 10th. You guys excited?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Like, Nathan and I were going to actually go last year, but, the whole COVID. So, yeah, that killed
our entire plan for it.
Yeah, like our D&D group, we're all gonna get together and just meet for the first time, but yeah, that didn't end up happening. So hopefully we can do that this year.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm wondering if they're gonna have restrictions, because normally it'd be I think it's 10,000 normally people.
Yeah, probably would.
It's less people, I know that much.
Yeah, okay.
There's a limit to that I have to keep it to.
Yeah, exactly, which is going to be my concern, especially if we get press tickets as well.
Yes.
That's going to be, because they were already limiting how many people can get press passes from one outlet. So I'm concerned about that, but I'll want to go anyways, and if I can get a normal ticket.
Yeah.
It'll probably just be a single person per press place.
Probably. I remember the first time we ever went, it was me and David when early back when, and we were in the media room. We could only have 2 people, and we were sitting across from Lenovo, who had 12, and they were right in front of us. They all had their iMacs and everything. They were basically taking up a third of the media room. It was ridiculous.
Damn.
Yeah, and here's us with our one MacBook. Which is and that is actually
we're professional too, guys.
Exactly. And that was actually then when we set up our little soundbite, which happens at the start of our videos and at the start of the podcast, the diddle ding ding. Right. That was when we set that up. So we did that on David's phone right there on a piano app, and it was just yep, that'll work, and just did that, and it's just stuck ever since. But I always remember that. And then you had Lenovo just sitting across from us, and was oh yeah, okay, we're small, I get it.
The big boys of the room.
Yeah. But PAX it's so much fun. We spend 80-90% of the time simply at the indie section, so we just meet so many developers and chatting to them, which is so good. We obviously check out Nintendo stuff, but everyone else does as well, and all the
that's
massive
where you
outlets.
Start, get it all out of the way, and then you go investigate the indie stuff.
Exactly, that's right. So we got first in because press get an hour early access
Yes, I remember hearing about that.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, so David and I just ran to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at the time.
Of course.
And we just played that, and it was amazing. And then last 2019, Matthew, who joined us, who doesn't write for us anymore, but we went straight to Pokemon Let's Go. And that was so good. But then we did have to line up for Luigi's Mansion 3 and Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah, that came out.
yeah. Which is still like crazy to think about. Silk Song. We played it in 2019, and it's still nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm really itching for that one.
Yeah, that usually means good stuff, right? Just years of silence.
I'm hoping so. We're still trying to knock on their door, Nathan.
Didn't they only recently finish all the DLC for it?
I think so. I think
the original game.
Yeah, I think they released something not long ago.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you what. I haven't gone back to it since I reviewed it. But Jake, if you're unaware, I've mentioned this multiple times on the podcast. But if you're not aware, Jake, it's the only game we've ever given 100% on the site.
Ah, damn.
It's Hollow Knight. So if you ever give me a draft and you're giving a game 100%, I want reasons why.
Right.
Because you're saying it's just as good as Hollow Knight, and that's not easy.
You got to convince Alex.
My favorite game of all time, I'd still only give like a 91. So
what's that?
That'd be Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you're a harsh reviewer. Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Like, you see my bloody review of Takeover? Like,
yes,
what did I give it? 50 something? Ugh.
I think it was less than that. I think it was slightly like in the 40s or something.
Yeah, man, I really wanted to like that game, but I just couldn't.
We've given games low scores. I think the lowest one is James's review of Pollen Ball. Yeah, and I think he gave that 15%. I gave, if you're familiar with the anime, Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that had a game recently. And I think I gave that like 18%, and I just called it it's just a cash grab. That's all it is.
I don't know what that is, but is the anime a light novel or isekai?
I'm pretty sure it's a light novel harem anime.
Yes.
I haven't seen much of it, but I know it's like cringy.
Yeah, it is. I don't mind the anime. It's a guilty pleasure,
when are we gonna get like a video game adaptation of that isekai about like a pizza man who goes into the fantasy world? That's a real thing. Go look it up.
Oh, jeez. So, anyways, PAX Australia. Yes, it's coming. It's actually happening this year, so very excited for that. Moving on, so Furukawa, he had an interview recently. I didn't note down who it was with, so that's my apologies. But he discussed the value of dedicated gaming hardware, which is interesting in 2021, especially with the Switch. It kind of borders that line a little bit. But I'm going to read out a quote, and then I'll see what you guys have to think about it. This is from Furukawa. So, with the rise in popularity of smartphones, our strategy is to grow the population of people who play video games. People all over the world enjoying games by utilizing the various features of smartphones, personal computers, and dedicated gaming consoles. I'm sure new offerings like cloud gaming and streaming will emerge, but they won't be a top priority when choosing what games to play. I think the most important things there are the contents of a game as well as the kind of games you can play. On the other hand, technological advances can make a big difference to the gaming experience itself. Since this can happen at any time, we're always actively researching technologies that could be the starting point of something fun.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
You've got to...
personally, as long as they don't go too hard on mobile, yeah, fine.
Yeah, no, as long as they, actually push the game. It's like you said, it's the contents of the game. That's what makes you go more towards what you play it on.
Yeah, don't want another Mario Kart Tour.
Yes, that's right. And I think with dedicated gaming consoles and dedicated gaming hardware, in replacing smartphone and whatnot, well, not necessarily replacing, that's probably a bad word, but when you buy a smartphone, you pay, $1,000 to $1,500 or plus from there, and you get the bloat with it. You get everything else a phone can do. Whereas the Switch is a gaming system. It doesn't even have Netflix on it.
Exactly.
To some people's dismay. But
it has YouTube, though.
It does have YouTube. And in America, it has Hulu and maybe a couple of others. But yeah, it's there for games, and as he says, it's a dedicated gaming console. So, and I think that's what we've come to expect from video game consoles. Whereas like a PC, again, you've got that bloat with it as well. You can do all the other stuff, which is, you know, fantastic if that's what you want it for. If you want it for like an all-round kind of thing, but specifically for gaming hardware, I don't think that's ever going to go away.
Yeah.
But cloud gaming could be, you know, that could be its downfall, potentially, depending on how that goes. But, well, maybe another 10 years, 10, 15 years, and in Australia, 40 years.
Yeah, exactly. Cloud gaming's not going to be a thing in Australia for a long time.
No.
Australia's a first world country with a third world internet connection.
Yeah, that's Australia. If Australia was going to have a quote or a slogan, that'd be it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I just thought that was a fun little quote. 2021 Bafta Award nominees were announced. You can have a look at the list, but pretty much all I'll say is Animal Crossing everywhere.
I mean, it was a pretty well-made game.
Yeah.
I did burn out on it fast, though.
Yeah, it's a well-made game, but like it didn't really have a lot of stuff in it. Like it, to be fair, like okay, this Animal Crossing was my first Animal Crossing.
Okay, that says a bit.
I have never played like any other Animal Crossings. The only reason like I got into it is because everyone around me is like, "Oh my god, Animal Crossing, so good, so good." I tried it and like, yeah, I had fun for about a week. Boy, does it run out of stuff to do real quick.
It does. I've always found exactly the same with Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Because some people can like play thousands and thousands of hours of it because like, you know, they get into like, you know, talking with their neighbors and whatnot. Other people just
That's Rochelle.
Have fun and then just leave it.
Like I wanted to enjoy it the same way that everyone else does. So like I did all the things that people kept telling me to do. It's like, oh, check back every day and talk to all your neighbors, see what new stuff they have, and yeah, it's just nothing. Like people were telling me the previous one, the 3DS one, New Leaf, wasn't it? Yeah, like that had like a significantly like larger amount of things to do in it. So like I did enjoy what little I played of it. It didn't really leave like a very lasting impression on me, and I don't think like I'll ever get back to Animal Crossing again, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I find there's two different audiences for Animal Crossing. There's, you know, for us where we play it for like a week or two, and you know, yep, that was fun. And then there's like Rochelle, who funny enough at the time, because you know it was the height of COVID, especially in Australia as well. Rochelle wasn't working at the time. Well, she was, but she was getting JobKeeper. She couldn't go into work, whereas I was working from home. So I was doing the review. However, Rochelle, during that 2 or 3 week period, put well over 150 hours into it. It's all she did, like straight. So really, she should have done the review, like absolutely. And I probably did like a 10th, if I'm lucky, the amount of time I put into it in comparison. But there are two different crowds with it, and I'm going to harken back to Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town, where I'm not the type of person to want to decorate my house and, you know, construct my farm in a certain way. I just don't get pleasure or joy out of that, and it's, you know, it's just not my thing. Like, if you see my farm, it's just stuff everywhere. It's just, where is it closest proximity to something else? Like, I run my farm like I would like a production factory. Mine's the same with like that in Stardew Valley. Like, I see some really cool stuff on there, but I'm like, I don't have the time to do that or the effort, like, to care. Exactly.
Yeah. I'd love to get into games like that, but I just can't. Like, if a game just like drops me down and it's like, here, you have the world, do whatever you want, I'm like, what do I do first?
Yeah.
I need structure. That's why I could never get into games like Minecraft or Terraria or anything.
Yeah, exactly. We need there needs to be a path, and we need to, or like Breath of the Wild, where like something needs to catch our attention, and we need to go over there. Whereas, yeah, I think if you give the player too much freedom, we just don't know what to do, and we just get bored because we just don't know how much, and we just don't know how much we can push the game to its limits. But anyways, the BAFTA awards. So yeah, a lot of Animal Crossing. So for best game, it was for, what else was there?
I'm assuming Last of Us
Family.
2 was put on there.
Yeah, Last of Us 2 is on there a lot. I'm trying to look for Switch stuff, but yeah, that is on there quite a bit. Carry On for debut game, which I reckon that definitely deserves it. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that looked really good.
Yeah, Roki for best British game. I remember that was really good, and I think James reviewed that, and he quite liked that. So that was really good. Hades for audio achievement, but
Hades, yeah,
and artistic achievement. That game was just beautiful. Animation, Spiritfarer. So there's actually a lot of indie support, like indie recognition as well, which is
it's good to see.
Always good to see. But yeah, always like seeing, these kind of games getting recognition, which is really good. The next one, so First Four Figures reveals a life-size Metro Prime Samus helmet, and I didn't know I ever needed this in my life until now.
That sounds pretty cool. Like I've been following First Four Figures for a while. It's just been too poor to buy anything.
Oh yeah,
that.
Very expensive.
Yeah. Like I found them through when what's it called? The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy first came out. That's when they started doing Crash Bandicoot stuff, and I'm on a Switch-based thing, but I've always been a PlayStation boy myself. So, like seeing that, it's like, oh, it's Crash, cool. A giant figure, oh, that's awesome. $400? No.
And you lost me.
Looking at this, $533 US.
Yeah.
So yes, expensive, but you'd be wearing a Samus helmet.
Like I've brought some dumb stuff in my time, but
all your Transformers.
Yeah, I have a Transformers collection. with all the extra money that we got during COVID, I'm like, I'm not really spending a lot of money anyway. I might as well start up a Masterpiece Transformers collection. That was a dumb idea. I should have been saving that.
We've all made mistakes. My mistake was the Amiibo collection. Now it's just the box.
An Ambio.
Although funnily enough, I did pre-order my first Amiibo for over 3 years.
And that was the Banjo one, wasn't it?
I was going to say, I didn't even need to say it, I don't think. If anyone knows me, it's Banjo-Kazooie. But yeah, March 26th, Banjo-Kazooie Amiibo. I'm sure there's others coming out.
Well, the Joker one looked really good too.
That one did look good.
I completely forgot that came out. I need to get that.
Good luck finding it.
Yeah, that's...
yeah, of course. Because Persona fans, quote unquote, will bloody mass buy them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Joker sold out before the day's end when it came out, like for pre-order.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh, you guys keep talking. I'm going to actually see if it's on eBay. eBay.
But like, you can still find the hero for like $10.
Yeah.
Because no one in the West wants the hero.
No. It's like, yeah, Dragon Quest is like huge and, influential and all that. But boy, every time I've tried to get into Dragon Quest, I'm just bored.
It's also like a massive Japanese like audience for it. That's why.
It's like there's nothing wrong with like the basic RPG, but it feels too basic to me.
Because the Western audience goes more for Final Fantasy, while the Japanese audience seems to go more for
Dragon Quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so first two results. First one is 98.47 with 42.80 postage. Second is 105.89 with 33.38 postage.
So
actually,
150.
the second one was actually better.
No.
So yeah,
this is why they need to reprint some of these.
Oh, 100%. Because clearly there's a demand for it. Clearly there's not enough stock, or they need to not sell them in bulk.
Yeah.
I guess that's another way, but
I mean,
I guess
look at
policing
the
that's harder.
Amiibo craze when it first came out, like how hard it was to find some of those things.
Yeah, I did spend $40 on Captain Falcon, and I've never even played an F-Zero game. I don't know why I did it.
You just wanted them all, didn't you?
I did. I did, and then at the time I was working at JB Hi-Fi, so after that I just pre-ordered all of them and got them pretty cheap. But like, yeah, this was before then, and I don't know why I did it. I really don't.
Staff discount.
Oh, like, yeah. But like before I was working at JB Hi-Fi, and the Captain Falcon, I just wanted it, and I don't know why. I couldn't explain it. But then I just stopped. I think the last one I ever got was a Box Boy one, where it was on Nintendo Australia's eBay account.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm quite happy that I got that one, because I think that's a rare find. And I've got the gold and silver Marios as well. But I am going to go
gold
and get the
Mario
Mario.
is a hard one now.
Yeah, and I've still got it in its case. I've only got the gold and silver. They're the only one
Do you know what's actually probably harder to get than gold Mario now? The original Smash Bros. Mario, because they haven't reprinted it.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Never
I do
thought
have
of that.
Yeah, because they only reprinted them as the actual like Super Mario series amiibos. Where he's standing up with his arms crossed.
I'm going to Google that as well. Or eBay that, I should say.
Personally, I never got into amiibos. Like, I have some. I got, like, Lucina, Robin, and Ryu, but that's about it.
There was a few games that made, like, use of most of them. Like, I know the Yoshi games, like, was it Woolly World, where you actually got costumes out of it. And then, although the Pokemon ones never worked, because, Pokemon Company's like, hey, these are ours.
Of course.
And then you had...
I think, like, outside of Smash, nothing uses the Ryu amiibo I have.
Unless they have, like, a Street Fighter game come out. Might do something with it. I don't know.
I know Street Fighter 4 is on the 3DS, but other than that, I don't think so.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was a launch title.
Yeah, that was a mess.
So if you ignore the Japan, like selling them from Japan, if you ignore them on eBay, they're about honestly the same as Joker, about $100.
Yeah,
Jeez.
For the gold Mario, which is quite surprising, honestly. I honestly expect that to be more. Oh well.
So yeah, apart from your general amiibo compatibility with like Hyrule Warriors and Pokemon, the only thing it does is Smash Bros for Ryu.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, it's got general amiibo and Smash Bros.
That's pretty upsetting. Moving on to the next bit. I'm gonna, actually, because I've written it in order on a Google Doc, but I'm gonna skip the next one. I'm gonna leave that one till last, I reckon, because that one can probably go on forever. Monster Hunter. Let me say that again. Monster Hunter Stories 2 launches July 9th. Nathan, take it away.
Confirmed date.
Yeah, Monhun.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun. Where you actually ride the monsters and fight that way. I never actually played the original one because it was like at the end of the 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, and the 3DS was, like, it was a solid system, but at that point, like, it was like, there was so much more stuff out.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it was on its way out the door.
Yeah.
And the Switch had just come into it, and that's all we wanted to play. I'm actually I'm tempted to play the first one, but I can only find it on my phone, and I don't want to... It's just something weird, like... I think it's a mentality thing, but I don't want to spend $31 on a mobile game, but I'd spend $50, $60 on a Switch game and wouldn't bat an eye.
Like, if they released it on the Switch, like, so be like, hey, this is what the game story is, it'd be, like, a good way to do it.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't do that.
I mean, if they did a Bravely Default collection of the first two games.
Yeah.
Oh, God, 150 hours later. I'm ready for Bravely Default 2. No more. Well, that'd be me anyways. But yeah, I'm excited for Monster Hunter fans. I do want to get into stories because I think that'll be a bit more up my alley. But when I get time in 2037, maybe.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
The story stuff is like way more niche than like the base Monster Hunter stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Always is.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge was announced. I'm not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, but are you guys?
Yeah. I watched the 2003 like reboot.
That's what I was going to say.
Mainly because it was always on before we went to school. But like other than that, no, I was never.
It's based on the 80s Ninja Turtles, so like I haven't got any connection to it. I'm like,
it's specifically more based on like the arcade game.
Yeah.
Which was it, Turtles in Time?
Turtles in Time.
Which wasn't based on the 80s cartoon.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah, but you know.
Yeah.
That's all they had.
Yeah.
Well, and the comics.
Yeah, well, no one cares about the comics ever since, you know, the cartoon came along, because that drastically changed everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cowabunga pizza, my dude.
But
Wiggle, thumb and pinky finger.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited for fans, especially like of the 80s cartoon, because it seems to be in pretty good hands.
It looks good.
Really good. It's just
yeah,
disappointing. The 2003 one gets nothing ever.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you've written down here that it like some of the team behind the Scott Pilgrim game is actually working on this.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Like, I haven't played the Scott Pilgrim game myself, but I hear that game's really good.
That game.
Nathan, you're a big fan of that, aren't you?
Yeah, no, that I played that with mutual friend Nathan, and yeah, no, we played that like all the way through. It was great fun.
I'll get around to that eventually.
I do need to re-get it though, but like I played it when it first came out.
Yeah, right. And the big piece of news that I'm saving to the end of the news bit, Bloomberg reports on a possible Switch Pro. So that'd be, according to the report, a 7-inch 720p OLED Samsung screen. It'll upscale to 4K in docked mode, and Samsung is said to begin mass production in June, with shipments to Nintendo for assemblement in July. So that says to me a holiday.
Yeah.
Holiday launch, maybe.
Announced at the quote-unquote E3 time.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
Which I don't think E3 is going ahead from what I heard.
No, I probably won't. It's like, as we learned from last year's like replacement of E3, we don't really need E3 anymore.
No, which is upsetting. I mean, we all look forward to E3. It was our Christmas.
We all look forward to the cringe. Yeah, that's fun.
But I think we looked forward to it because it's all we had.
Yeah,
it was most of what we had. But now, you know, it's not all we have anymore. And especially when Nintendo went over to Nintendo Directs,
and then PlayStation copied them.
Exactly, as they do.
They did.
But anyways, I'm absolutely down for a Switch Pro. I've still got the launch Switch. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the launch Switch as well.
Like, yeah, that would be good. I've seen people for some reason annoyed that the fact that like undocked it's going to be 720p. It's like, what do you expect?
It's a freaking like handheld thing. You can't expect higher than that.
Like it's ridiculous that it's 720.
Exactly.
Like, why? Like, you expect it to be 1080?
And as someone who plays mostly in like handheld because it's just easier with like other stuff going on, like I have no issues with it. Like every game I've played, like most things are actually pretty fine in the handheld, and like just an improvement is going to be just better.
I think people just get so caught up with the number.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just want
number
that number
not big enough.
Exactly. But I mean that OLED screen, if that's true, that gets me excited.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the colors that would pop, especially with Nintendo games.
Oh yes.
That would be incredible.
As someone who uses the Switch entirely docked, 4K docked, damn,
that would be good.
That's gonna be so good.
Oh yeah. You just got to have the games compatible for it.
The game's compatible, and I'm gonna need like a new TV that's actually 4K compatible.
I heard rumors that there's gonna be like these Switch Pro exclusive games.
Probably will.
I mean, you kind of have to. Like
we did have like new 3DS exclusive games with
go back even further than that. You've had the Game Boy Color that had its own games on it.
That's true.
And
true.
Yeah.
I never really thought the Game Boy Color as, you know, just like Game Boy Plus. I've always seen it as like its own exclusive console.
I just hope. I honestly hope if that is true and they do have 4K display, I hope they take the Microsoft route and smart delivery where you buy a game and if you have this Pro, it upscales to 4K.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the advantages that are coming with the Series X are Microsoft's doing. So they're going back and doing all that to games, and Nintendo won't do that. That's not Nintendo's MO. So then they'll be like, the developers have to do it, and the developers will be like, well, there's not really that much of an advantage for us to do it, so we're not going to do it, and then it never happens.
Although, like, new games will probably have it, but I don't see older ones.
Yeah, and it's weird for me to say as well, but I honestly hope it's not too much of a gap between the two consoles, because people will complain if the game runs like garbage. Like, you can think of Hyrule Warriors Legends, I think it was, on the 3DS, and it ran like hot garbage on the original 3DS.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Did that thing run at like 3 frames a second?
If lucky. But
see, I ran it on the new 3DS, so I wasn't that bad with it.
Yeah, and it was a competent game on the new 3DS, but like you just could not run it on the basics on the OG one. But then you did have your exclusive. Honestly, I can only think of 2 exclusive new 3DS games.
Xenoblade Chronicles is the only one I can think of.
Yeah, exactly.
And ironically, it's the only way I've ever played Xenoblade Chronicles. Is the 3DS version, and
same.
It held it up.
Mine was the Wii U port,
which had like a bit of an upgrade, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. But like, it was not the best way to play it. But being able to play that massive of a game on the 3DS was mind blowing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Impressive.
And now
just a shame I'm not a fan of Xenoblade.
Or we're now
super not a fan.
It's a tough game to get into.
You either love it or you don't. You're not going to spend 80 hours into something you don't connect with 5 hours in.
Yeah, exactly.
No, 80 hours just to do the first chapter, realistically, if you're doing all the side quests.
I did not. I definitely did not. But yeah, I would be so keen.
All the side quests is such a drain on that game.
It is. But yeah, I would be so keen on a Switch Pro or a Super Switch or a new Switch or whatever they call it. I really hope it's not a new Switch. But
that naming convention is so bad.
Oh, it's terrible. So I'm 100% down for whatever this comes to be. I would be, I'd be day one, but it's only because I have the launch model.
Exactly, same thing for me.
That's it. Does anyone else have, because I know that's a big point of news, does anyone else have anything to say on that before we move on?
I'm just having a look to see what the name that I saw was.
Yeah, I've been hearing Super Switch being thrown around.
Yeah, the Super Nintendo Switch is the name that they officially have leaked. Well, not officially, but it was what was leaked. The Super Nintendo Switch, so just Super Switch.
Just to credit that, I guess, as well, where's
I
that
saw it
from?
on something called Creative Block. I just searched up the Super Switch Nintendo. But yeah, something said they leaked it, dropped in, and something from Bloomberg as well. Okay. So this is probably just more information from that.
I wonder if that'll confuse people. Because the Super Nintendo was, technically a new console from the years.
Yeah.
I wonder if people think that'll be a next generation one.
I mean, depends how many games don't come out on the actual Switch anymore.
Yeah. It will probably confuse people, but not as bad as, the Xbox Series X and all that
and the
crap that's been going on. Yeah, the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, the Xbox Series X. It's, oh my god, Microsoft, please.
How Xbox One X sales just jumped when the Series X pre-orders came out.
It's we've been bitching about this ever since the Xbox One was announced. It's that's a dumb name. You've invalidated the original Xbox. Just call it the Xbox, 3? Or something? Do what PlayStation does. And every time they release a new bloody console, they dig the hole even deeper.
I can't remember what movie it was, but it had Hugh Jackman in it, and it's just about robots fighting. And it's I don't know. Yeah,
I know what movie it is.
Yeah,
there was a game based on that. I think it was on the Kinect.
Probably actually, because there was an advertisement, and because it was supposed to be set in the future, there's an advertisement for Xbox 720, and that just did not happen at all.
Real Steel.
It's like, yeah, that's
Real
the movie.
Steel.
Yeah, it's like how Deus Ex Human Revolution has like a poster for Final Fantasy 26.
See, that's more believable though.
Yeah. Maybe Xbox will come back and go to the 720 later on. That's their second revolution.
It'll just be 720p, and it will annoy the absolute crap out of the consumers. It's like, it's a classic.
Oh.
It's what they call the 360 mini.
Yeah, probably actually. And then everyone will get confused because like, I just want to play 360 games. You can play 360 games, but it's a 720. I don't know. Moving on to, so we're past the new section, so moving on to the indie roundup. In this segment, we just basically highlight a few indie games that are coming up, and that we just feel that just need to be mentioned, I reckon. So, Signs of Sojourner, I think I'm pronouncing that right, the 18th of March. This one is published by Diggerati. Have you guys heard of this one?
I have not.
I remember seeing it. I need to quickly look
Let me Google
reference.
this.
I was just going to say, like, I should probably actually have supplied the links for these. Point of reference for myself next time. And it's hilarious when you type in signs of into Google and the stuff that you get.
Oh, yes. I remember you posting the link of this, where you had to, like, link
this
cards
thing.
up.
Yes, I mean, Brian put his hand right up for this one. I don't know, because...
It's interesting.
Yeah, it looks real good.
It's like dominoes, but cards, but it's a conversation? Question mark?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that looks so unique that I had to
It's
mention
one
it.
of those games that you have to see, and even then you probably won't get it.
I think you'd have to play it to get it, if anything.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, definitely look at that one. That one is 18th of March. Next one you have Dark, which is spelt with a Q. Don't ask me why.
Edgy.
Exactly.
Edgy, that's right. But this one, I'm pretty sure I might have heard wrong, but it's developed by one person or majoritively developed. Majoritively developed, and then someone else does the music and stuff like that. But the credits would roll for like 30 seconds, and that'd be it basically for this one. But this Dark has a lot of critical success from its PC release, and if you're into horror, 2D-esque platformers, like 2D with a hint of 3D, it looks really good.
Yeah, kind of like Little Nightmares.
Yeah. I reckon that's probably a fair comparison. I reckon.
Yeah, that's the first thing that popped into my head when I saw that.
Little Nightmares with a bit of Tim Burton in there.
Yeah.
Far S Ultra. I'm pretty sure Jake, you put your hand up for this one.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I'm a speed junkie. Any kind of like kart racing game or like anything along the lines of that, I'm
just not realistic.
Like immediately just gonna like pick me, please, boss, pick me.
I'll remember that.
Yeah. So he can take all the racing games apart from you don't like the realistic racing though, do you?
No, that gives me anxiety. So I'm gonna crash.
Oh man, the amount of times crashing and like Need for Speed.
I love Burnout for that. I can go back and play Burnout.
Oh, Burnout is so good.
Yeah, but I think it's because it's like that level of
like the arcadiness. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So I could go back and play that because I love that back on the PS2.
It's like you're not really racing; it's more about crashing into things and watching stuff explode.
And we all love that, don't we?
But yeah, Future Aero Racing S is the full name, is it? Or Ultra? From what I see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a moniker for something.
Yeah. So it looks like it's more like F-Zero.
Yeah,
I've seen gameplay of it. It's not as fast as F-Zero, but like it does have the same kind of aesthetic to it.
Wipeout, the game that I'm thinking of? Back in the 64?
Yeah, Wipeout, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like the
very much like Wipeout.
Closest thing on Switch is like Fast RMX. If you played that as well.
Yeah.
Which I never did, but I played Fast Racing Neo on Wii U. because I think if a game dropped on Wii U, I bought it straight away because I was just starved.
You wanted to support
anything.
it.
Pretty much. I just felt bad for it.
You released it for my console, please. Thank you.
Hey, it was exclusive. I had to. So that one's 26th of March, and the last one is Narita Boy. Narita Boy? I don't know. This one's Team 17, and it looks interesting. Like, and I say interesting, like with the aesthetic, because it's more about like it's got a very old school 80s look where you go into like an arcade machine or something rather. And I don't know, it just looks really cool, and the combat looks pretty smooth as well. So definitely look into this one.
Boy, what is this? Oh yeah, that's 80s as hell.
Yeah, it's like the neon lights and everything.
Makes me think of what is it?
Oh, there is straight up just like a picture of like a dude holding a sword up with like, you know, like it looks like a mix between the Tron and Star Wars bloody
movie posters.
Yeah.
Makes me think of Kung Fury.
I don't know what that is.
That is a basically 80s movie, like short little movie thing. It is definitely worth the watch.
It is like the most 80s thing in the world.
Like, just watch it.
Hacker Man.
So that wraps up the indie roundup. We'll move on to the Patreon questions. So in this segment, a couple of days prior to us recording the podcast, we put out a little post where our patrons can ask us questions, and we'll pick one and answer it on the episode. We do put the questions out to everyone, like on our socials and everything, but our patrons get priority with that because they're our patrons.
But it depends how much time we have left over. It depends on how many questions we can answer.
Pretty much, yeah. This one comes from John Crisp. He's asked, he said, "Hey guys, considering we've passed the 4th anniversary of the Switch, what were your first impressions of the Switch when it first came out, and does it hold up 4 years later?"
I was like, because with the Wii U, I played a lot on like, you know, handheld mode, like so other people could use the TV at the time. I was like, oh, this is like the Wii U, but better, and like, you know, being able to go out and play stuff. I was like, this is the best part of the Switch is being able to portably play, you know, while on a bus ride or a train ride or, you know, while on break at work kind of thing.
And it could be more than 2 meters away from your TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the classic meme of playing it on the toilet.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I
never used that feature of the Wii U where I just, you know, only played it on the tablet. I don't know why. Like, I just didn't like the way it felt because the gamepad was so bulky.
I did it once. Yeah, I remember doing it once, and it felt like just a hassle to set that up in the first place.
And the screen wasn't the best.
No. Oh, it was horrible.
But it meant I could still play games when other people wanted to use the TV at the time.
That is true. That is very true.
I had an easier time streaming my PS4 to my Vita than I did using the Wii U tablet. So
really?
Like, yeah. Because, like, it was just a button on the Vita. It's like, oh, like, looking for PS4s in the area. Is this it? Alright, good. Bam. Done. Easy.
I did not have that same experience. I only ever tried the Vita once when trying to connect that to the PS4, and it said, you know, Kuni wasn't compatible, and then I tried something else, and it looked terrible. I'm just like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, alright. Well.
That was me anyways. But yeah, so, I mean, I think when we first saw the Switch, especially like in that reveal trailer as well, I was so excited, and I don't know, like looking back on it, it's hilarious, but I was so excited for Skyrim on the Switch because it was just the idea of
Skyrim port number 73. Let's go.
Don't they actually have an Alexa port of it?
Probably. I think so, actually. I think
I think it was a joke at first, but yeah, now it's a thing.
But like the idea of, you know, Bethesda, like in that big third-party company supporting the Switch, I think was like shocking.
Yeah, it was like, damn, Nintendo's actually giving a shit now.
Yeah, exactly, which did not happen back then. So I think that was my biggest thing. And looking back on it now, the third-party support the Switch has, granted a lot of them are ports or, you know, dumbed-down versions of games, like, but it still showed promise, and I think the Switch has absolutely delivered on that promise, which is a huge part of it.
Although we're still waiting for a game from that reveal trailer. Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the
been so
one
long, I
game that
forgot.
still hasn't come out yet.
From that January presentation. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's...
But hey, at least we know more about it than Bayonetta 3.
That's true.
And Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on that one.
Been over 1,060-something days, still no news on Bayonetta 3.
That's half of the gap that we had with that last direct.
Oh man, that was a long gap between directs.
Yeah,
That
fucking
was.
Kamiya goes on Twitter, stop asking me for Bayonetta, god damn it.
They've got to show something this year, surely. But the thing is, I said exactly the same thing last year this time, so, you know, it'll happen when it happens. But I am super excited for that, because I did not expect to like the first two Bayonettas. I really didn't. But again, because it came out on Wii U, and because the game was coming out on the Wii U, I had to get it. And I played both of them, and I really enjoyed it. So I think, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I need to go back to like Bayonetta, because like I first played them before like I kind of got the character action genre. Like now that I've played like DMC5 and absolutely love that, like I really should get back into that, because like my first like foray into Bayonetta wasn't good. So yeah, hopefully like now that I get it.
I mean, you can always get the Switch version as well, so...
Yeah. Well, I could dust off my Wii U since I have the 1 and 2 pack.
There you go. So 4 years later, and, you know, a new generation of consoles have come out as well. Do you still think the Switch holds up?
Oh yeah, no, it holds up for what it does. It's obviously...
Yeah, for what it is.
It's its own thing compared to, like, it's not I'm the big strong boy. I'm like, it's off on the side doing its own thing.
Yeah, like, I will admit, outside of, you know, being hired for this, I barely touch my Switch.
Yeah, gotcha.
It sounds sacrilege, I know, but, like, there was just a huge gap where, like, nothing interested me for, like, a good year or so.
And that's fair. I mean, Nintendo themselves had a very quiet year. They had a very quiet 2020.
And also, a lot of the games are coming out on, you know, PlayStation or on the PC kind of thing as well.
That's
exactly.
And some people just prefer it in that higher power.
Oh, and that just makes sense. Like, Apex Legends just launched on Switch, and...
Oh, yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and, like, I saw it, and the first thing I thought of, if you only have a Switch, yeah, get it. Play it on your Switch. But if you have anything else, play it on there.
Same thing I see with Tony Hawk's.
Exactly. Well, I think Tony Hawk's might be a bit different because you can play that offline.
True.
Whereas Apex Legends, you have to have an online connection, and unless you're using your phone data while you're out, which isn't ideal, and it's going to drain your battery, like anything.
Although it'll probably be more stable than our internet.
Yeah, exactly. It is. 100%.
God, I hate this country so much.
Yeah. But, yeah, exactly. So, if the Switch is all you have and you want to play Apex Legends on your Switch, absolutely. But if you've got anything else, because once I've never played Apex Legends before, but as soon as they announced it and I saw it, I'm just like, maybe I'll play that on my Series X. That's the first thing I thought.
Maybe I'll play it on something other than the Switch.
Exactly, which is the big news story at the moment. But yeah, I mean, apart from power, apart from the guts of the Switch, which hoping a Switch Pro might improve on, and I feel as though it is now time to start hearing a little bit more about a Switch Pro.
Wasn't it about the same time that it took for the 3DS to get its new 3DS? More around
about that
4-year mark?
Yeah, and that kind of seems like the sweet spot as well.
Yeah, it feels like it, yeah.
I wonder if we'll get the Switch Pro first, like we did with the new 3DS.
I mean, I got the new 3DS when it came here first to Australia, but the thing is, it wasn't supported by anything.
Oh, no. But we did get it, like...
It's like 2 or 3 months early.
Yeah, because we got it at the same time as Japan compared to Europe and America.
Yeah, which never happens.
Oh, yeah.
But I got it. I got it when it launched early here in Australia. And then I was like, I don't really need this.
Or I needed to update my 3DS because the shoulder buttons were, like, messed up.
Okay, well, that's fair enough.
From Mario Kart.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
it's from Mario Kart.
Mario Kart
but
kills the shorter ones on 3DSs.
And Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Smash broke my stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did that. I noticed that did that up to a lot of people's 3DS.
Those sticks were clearly not made for like any high input kind of games like Smash.
Yeah, I felt real bad, and I was super paranoid playing Smash on my 3DS. But the one thing the Switch has done for me as well is, and in addition to working with Switchaboo as well, is my all of a sudden love for indie games. Because it's the Switch is a perfect console, it's a perfect platform for indie games.
It has like every indie game ever.
Exactly. Because
for better or for worse.
Yes. But like there's just so much now. Like so many indie developers, they're porting it to PC and Switch. And then PlayStation, Xbox comes later.
Yes, and that's it. Like, yeah. Like they release it PC, Switch first. Or they make Switch the first priority to come out on. Because it's such a big market.
It's a big market, and from what I hear, they actually get like a lot more of the like actual profit share.
Yeah, exactly. And, being Switchaboo and being out the site that we are, majority of what we cover is indie games. For that reason, because just all indie developers, their main focus, it's they put it on PC because they build it on PC, so it makes sense. It's just,
it's easy.
It comes with it. Exactly. But Switch is their main focus because that's where the sales come from. I remember that from Blossom Tales, if you remember way back when. It was one of the first big indie games to come out exclusively console exclusive on Switch. And that just blew up, like sales, because it was, from vague memory, it had released on PC and then like a year later on Switch, and like within its first week, it had tripled its sales. It was ridiculous.
Like, look at Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah. Oh, there's another example straight away.
Like that just boomed as soon as it came out.
I feel bad for not playing that. That game looks amazing for what it is.
It's a short one too, isn't it?
It's very short. 2 hours, 3 tops.
Unless you have trouble with puzzles.
Yeah, so 4 hours for me. But it is really good. Untitled Goose Game, and that was our Name That Game a few episodes ago, which is a perfect segue for Name That Game. So
professional.
Thank you. I thought so. So time for everyone's favorite part of the podcast. So Name That Game. Jake, this is your first time playing Name That Game with us, so I'll go over the rules. Basically, I have a game. You got to guess it. I have 10 hints. You and Nathan work together, so you have one. Like you're collective. You're not competing against each other.
So it's a team.
Exactly. So bounce ideas off of each other. Although I have thought about something, and if you are the one to think of the game and suggest the game first, you get to plug something of your choice. So I want to give that bit of a reward. If you're the first person to mention what the game is before you guess it, then you get to plug something. So that's a little thing I've added in. Anyway, so there's 10 hints. You get 5 guesses in total as a collective. So 2 guesses before question 6, 2 guesses before question 10, and 1 last guess after question 10. So you got to space them out. So if you don't use a hint after hint 5 and you can't think of anything, you lose that guess.
Okay.
But if you can't think of anything, it's just we just lose it basically.
Yeah, or just guess a random game.
Because there has been times where it's like, just throw it out. We know it's wrong, but
yeah, pretty much. Which was on that Name That Game spectacular episode that we did, and that happened
that was
a couple times.
Really hard one. Like you
the
said,
last
bottom
one.
off the barrel.
I knew I was gonna get you. I knew it. I was very proud of myself. But so this one. So also you have 2 lifelines. You have a yes or no question, and normally you would have a Switchaboo lifeline, but I didn't get anyone to record the Switchaboo lifeline. So that is very
just go ask Rochelle.
Oh, is that the thing that I recorded?
Yes.
The other week.
Yes,
brilliant. Okay, got it.
But I forgot to do it. So
couldn't you go ask Rochelle to be like, hey, this thing?
Well, I was gonna do a game, but I don't reckon you would have gotten it without Rochelle.
Okay, fair.
So I changed the game at the last minute because Rochelle was supposed to be on this episode. So that is why I did that. And then I was like, I can't get a hint. And I just went with it.
Yeah.
So this time I'm going to let you have 2 yes or no questions.
Okay.
So to account for that. Or the last rule, and I know it's getting a bit complicated, but the last rule is you can trade any of those lifelines or any of those lifelines for an additional guess if you want to.
Okay.
But that's never happened. So that's interesting.
Because usually we get to the guesses before then.
Yeah, exactly. So the first hint, it's a 2D platformer. That says nothing. So the second hint is the original concept came from a game jam, which took a team of 4 days to make.
Oh man, I remember game jam things.
The game launched on January 25th, 2018.
Platform that came out a couple years ago from a game jam.
Well, the original concept came from the game jam.
Yeah.
It's available. It's available on PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia.
Stadia.
I know.
Although that will rule out a lot. Be like, hey, it's on Stadia.
That
also,
exists.
For reference, we're not allowed to use the internet or our
Yes,
Switch
thank you.
libraries.
Oh, really? Never would have guessed.
Or your Switch, because Nathan did that once. And I was like, dude.
Oh, you cheater!
No. Yeah.
It wasn't
So
in
no
the rules.
filthy cheater.
It wasn't in the rules at the time.
That is true, so I added that. And thank you, Nathan, for pointing that out.
Haha, loopholes.
And that's how we got Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And the last hint before you have to use your 2 guesses, the Switch version has a 92 on Metacritic.
So it's a good one. 2D platformer. So we have to... if we don't guess anything... 92.
I was my first thought's like Hollow Knight's like
that's what I was going to say though.
Yeah,
because it's on a lot of systems.
Yeah, it's on a lot of systems, highly rated, but not 2 years old.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 at this point. That would be 3 years. What would be 2 years? Highly rated.
This is difficult for me because I don't actually really pay attention to a lot of indie releases. So like before like joining this, so like this is over my head.
I mean, it may not be an indie release, but
I was going to say, I never said indie.
I know. I'm just
no. Was it just for clarification with the release date? You didn't say it was Switch release date. You just said the release date, didn't you?
I said launch January 25th, 2018.
Okay.
Where I got that number from, it didn't specify.
Okay.
So I think it launched on all consoles at the same time, but probably later for Stadia.
Fair. Just thought, clarify there wasn't anything on that.
Yeah. When did Stadia become a thing?
I think it was 2018 it came a thing.
Yeah. Oh well, moving on.
Was it on one console for a long time before it moved to anything else?
We can make that a yes or no question if you want.
I was going to say. I'm going to Google that. I don't think so.
Nah.
But I'm going to Google it.
If we actually use that as a question.
Yeah, because like I just had epiphany. Could it be Cuphead?
That's not on PlayStation though.
Oh, it's not? Oh, alright.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well, disregard my ramblings.
Although, would you classify it as a platformer? I guess it is.
Yeah, it's
I'd call it more
technically
a
a
boss rush
platformer.
game.
Yeah, but it does have platforming
True.
levels in it.
Okay, I won't answer that question then, unless you used it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do know the answer.
Just because burn the guest, do you just want to clarify that it's definitely not Hollow Knight? Before we just burn them? Hey. Is it Hollow Knight?
No.
There we go.
Yeah, didn't think so.
Yeah. Didn't think so, but it's good to clarify before we burn the guests.
It had to be a platformer.
I mostly pick platformers, don't I?
Yeah. I mean, you picked Mario.
3 hints. It's a record.
Although, isn't, was it Wargroove? That was a 3 hints as well, wasn't it?
That was pretty quick, although I did do some editing of that today because it's going up on YouTube. Actually, it should be on YouTube now. Interesting, I gotta post that. That was about 5 hints.
Okay.
Because I re-listened to it. But it was very quick.
Yeah.
It was super quick as well.
Oh, I'm trying to think now. What would it been? What's 2D Black?
Yeah, I have absolutely no clue. Yeah, like Hollow Knight and Cuphead would like my best
we
guesses.
can do Cuphead to clarify it, and then just go on to the next clues.
Or you can use a lifeline.
Or we could use a lifeline, or we could just move on to the next clues. So, it's up to you. I'll let you pick here.
I'll say go on to the next clues.
So, we'll just clarify it then before we burn it. Is it Cuphead?
No, it's not Cuphead.
There you go. And now we'll go on to the
I'm
next
bad
clues.
at this.
It can take, usually the 7th or 8th one is where it goes, that's the thing.
Yeah. That's what we did with Bug Fables in that episode.
I think it was the 9th one.
Yeah, that went right down to the wire. That was a good one. So the next hint, the studio is from Canada. The lead director said that they took direct inspiration from Super Mario Bros. 3.
Oh, Canadian game. Oh my god, I've heard this before. Oh, this is driving me nuts.
Yeah, this game does that.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. What is it?
But you see what I mean by, like, it'll take, like, those little extra guests that make you go, okay, no, that has an idea in my head.
Yeah.
Go to the next clue.
I reviewed this game, and I gave it 95.
But that just means, like, half the website.
I was just about to say.
Do you want me to read out the last hint before you go to your guesses?
Yeah.
It won Best Game for Impact at the 2018 Game Awards.
Okay. No,
So you're saying it's not Crash Team Racing?
That is correct. Is that a guess?
No. Believe it or not, I'm taking the piss.
I don't believe it.
What's in the... It'd have to be in highly rated. I'm trying to think times I've been on the eShop and like, this game was on here.
So it won the award for Impact. That's usually awarded to very artsy games. Platformer from a Canadian dev, inspired by Mario 3.
So I'll go
this is going to drive me wild.
I'll go back as well. So 2D platformer, original concept came from a game jam which took a team of 4 days to make. Launched January 25th, 2018. It's available on PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia. Switch version has a 92 on Metacritic. So the studio's from Canada. The lead director said they took direct inspiration from Super Mario Bros. 3. Has a 95% from myself. And it won Best Game for Impact at the 2018 Game Awards.
Yeah, I have no clue.
It's going to be so obvious when I say it.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Yeah, I'm just like...
And you have 2 guesses before I move on to question to
and
10.
2 lifelines.
And 2 lifelines. So you can ask me questions.
Yeah, you got any ideas, Nathan?
I am not sure.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank here.
I'm just trying to think. Just trying to...
Think for me, because my brain's dead.
2018. So it came out 3 years ago at this point.
Oh my god, that is 3 years ago. I kept thinking it's 2.
Yeah, no, it's 3 years.
Damn you, Father Time.
What could it be? I'll ask a question, if you're okay with it. Jake, does it have a physical release? Do you think that's a question to ask?
Sure. It's better than the absolute nothing I was thinking of.
Does the game have a physical release?
I think it does, but I'm going to look it up. It had a limited physical release.
Limited physical release. Okay.
Yeah, one of those limited run.
Was that like actual, like from the like released in games, or did it have to go through like a specific website, like how Scott Pilgrim you have to go through a certain website kind of thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think...
It's a bit too complicated.
Yeah, I just thought I'd make sure, because sometimes it has a difference.
Yeah, true.
I don't think so, although, because you know of Limited Run? And they do like those... Yeah, it was from them.
Okay. Yeah, so probably...
I think they do
specifically
some...
from them.
Yeah, but I think they do some launches. Like, I think they do some physical copies in, like, retail stores.
Didn't they do one of the Shantae games? That's literally the only, like, platformer I can think of. But
isn't that Way Forward?
Yeah, I don't think that's... Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be, like, a game jam thing as well.
No, because that's been around since the Game Boy days.
Exactly.
Okay. Is it a difficult, like, is it known for its difficulty in the 2D platformer?
You can use it as the second lifeline.
Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, you could say that.
So it can't be Super Meat Boy, because that was older, but it's...
Wasn't there a Super Meat Boy sequel that came out?
That's not out yet.
Ah, damn.
But
I'll correct you on that. That did come out very recently. I think it was January.
I thought that wasn't out yet.
Recently. Okay,
yeah, no.
So...
Because it was on the list of games that were to be coming out next year that people were looking forward to.
Yeah, we didn't get a code for it. It was very upsetting. I cried myself to sleep.
I'm trying to think. Was it Freedom Planet? Was that one hard?
Oh, if you consider Sonic the Hedgehog hard.
I mean, depends. What was the...
But
I'm trying to think. I know
would be,
the game. I'm trying to think.
It wouldn't be Freedom Planet because that's inspired by Sonic, not Mario.
True, yeah. I know the game. It's like it's got a girl. That's like the main character, and I can't think of the name of the game.
Does that do anything for you, Jake?
Nope.
So Shantae?
Yeah, is it Shantae? Nathan, is it Shantae?
It can't. No, it's not Shantae. It's like a.
Is it Samus?
It reminds me of Super Meat Boy, the way it looks and the way it plays. I just can't remember the name of it. Isn't it like a love story or something?
Celeste.
Yes.
Is it Celeste?
You got it.
Hey, there we go.
I would have been so upset if you didn't get it, honestly.
Oh my god.
The last hint was when the studio's other commercially successful game came to Switch, the main character from this game in question was added as a playable character. So that was Towerfall, and Madeline was added to Towerfall.
Yeah, I still wouldn't have gotten that.
No.
It's like the second he said, like, girl, I'm like, got it.
And that's sometimes all it takes.
Yeah.
It's just one thing. It's like, yep, there it is. But
oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
92 on Metacritic, which is...
That hurt my head.
Try doing what we did last week and doing 5 in a row.
It's fun, though. It's fun.
It was very fun. But yeah, Celeste, made by Matt Makes Games, who I actually learnt this when I wrote this up, that they've changed their name because it's no longer just Matt. They've got a team now.
Oh.
It's a fun little fact. Because I remember in an interview he said he doesn't like that it's Matt Makes Games because it's not just him
Matt
anymore. Yeah, but I thought...
Well, good for Matt.
Exactly, good for Matt.
He
But I
made
thought
friends.
the second hint... He did. But I thought the second hint was pretty good because you can actually play... I don't know if you know this, but you can actually play the Game Jam version within Celeste.
Oh.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
I did not know.
See,
Yeah.
I haven't played Celeste. Because I'm
Really?
not
Oh.
big on the really difficult platformers. Like, it looks cool,
okay.
but I'm like... I don't have the patience to just sit there and try and try and try and try.
Man, if
So
only I asked more questions to that one Celeste speedrunner who shows up in my chat every now and then.
So if you're going to play any, like, you know, quote unquote tough as nails 2D platformer, it should be Celeste, purely because, for one, it loads really quickly. So when you die, it loads super quick, and you're back to and it's all frame by frame. So when you die, it doesn't feel as punishing. The game,
So it's like Hotline Miami kind of respawns, yeah.
Yeah, very, very quick and very fast paced in that you don't have to backtrack a lot. And because how can I put it? Because its main focus is on, like, mental health and overcoming the mountain that is, like, depression and anxiety. So the game it encourages you to learn from mistakes rather than laugh, you know, some of those games where it kind of laughs at your death count and, like, kind of shows off.
That explains the, you know, award and impact.
Exactly, yeah. So instead of that, it then says you can learn from your mistakes, and it encourages you to keep going. So if you're going to play any tough as nails 2D platformer, it should be Celeste for that reason. And that was on sale once for like 75% off. I remember once, not long ago. So if it's ever 75% off again, I'll point that out to you, Nathan, because I really think you should play it for that reason. But
just make
overall,
a news story on it. Be like, hey, look, Celeste is 75% off. Go play it.
There you go. And I'll plug my old review, which is terrible now that I look back on it. It's real bad. But Jake, you suggested that one first. So what would you want to plug?
Oh shit! Yeah, I did. Boy, it's like you made this reward just for me. So, hi, I'm Jake. I am a variety streamer up on Twitch. You can catch me at twitch.tv/Jaxic15 as JAXEK15. I typically play I typically play RPGs, but I also play whatever the heck I want. So, there's that. So if you think I'm a cool dude, come show up, say hi, then leave and never show up again like most people.
I'm there most of the time, so...
Yeah, Nathan's going to be there too. He's one of my mods, so yeah. It's the closest thing you're probably going to get to like an official Switchaboo Twitch stream until Alex pulls his thumb out of his butt.
Hey, we're working on it.
It's a hard thing to pull out.
I actually think Steve wants to do that, so he once said that before, that he wants to start streaming, so
set up a community channel where, like, you know, like, I want to stream and go through the Switchaboo thing kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
If you have a key to do it. But yeah, that wraps up episode 5 of the Switchaboo podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And Nathan, as always, you haven't missed a beat, so thank you for being on this episode, like always.
Like always.
And Jake, thank you for the first episode, and hopefully here's to many more.
Yeah, hopefully, I'm entertaining enough to show up again.
There's only one other thing to point out. We have a Switchaboo Discord now.
We do. And
oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, and you set that up, Nathan, so thank you for that. But yeah, by all means...
if you go on like our social media...
I think someone wants your attention.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, with that, we can go on our socials. I think we have it linked on there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
But you can follow us on Twitter at Switchaboo News, on Facebook, Switchaboo, Instagram at Switchaboo. And of course, you can always support us on Patreon. You get this podcast 2 to 3 days early by just being a $1 patron, but we do have other tiers as well, so you can have more rewards from there. But normally, to wrap up a podcast, I would play it out with a bit of music, but unfortunately, I once again need to pull something out my butt and actually get on top of that. So we are just going to end it like this. But again, thank you everyone for listening.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.